You take my mother in with the kid, because I don't want to take care of her in the future. Faced with my husband's utterly selfish demand for a divorce, I felt the most intense anger I've ever experienced in my life. But from now on, the best life is guaranteed. I'm delighted to accept that proposal. My name is Nancy, and I'm 50 years old. I'm interested in investing, but as a complete technology novice, I still don't get the point. Someone saying like, wise woman keeps money under the mattress. No, just kidding. I want to live a long life, but I worry that no matter how much I save for retirement, it will never be enough. That was when I learned the utmost importance of financial planning in my life. Back then, I was living with Alex, my husband, and Lisa, our daughter, as a family of 3. As Lisa started high school and expenses mounted, my Alex's already modest salary began to decline even further, putting our household finances in dire straits. Having been a stay-at-home mom for many years to focus on raising our child, I finally decided it was time to start working, but once I began, I started noticing things that never bothered me before. Alex, who got home earlier than I did, would just lazily sprawl out on the couch. Lisa hadn't returned home yet from her extracurricular activities at school. His clothes were scattered all over the couch, and for some reason, there were 2 used glasses in the kitchen sink. If he doesn't want to do the dishes, at least he could try not to make more of them. And I'd appreciate it if he took his laundry to the hamper himself. Feeling utterly exhausted, I was overwhelmed with endless dissatisfaction towards Alex, but I managed to suppress those feelings, thinking it wasn't right. This was the first time I found myself working after getting married. It's okay, he's just not used to it yet. Eventually, he'll come to see that we're both working hard together. That turned out to be wishful thinking. Even after that, my husband, who got home earlier than I did, waited for me to return before letting me do the household chores. He wouldn't lift a finger himself. On weekends, he'd go out to have fun, while I'm left taking care of the house. If he were earning a high salary, I could perhaps be more forgiving, thinking he's working hard for the family. But his salary has been on a steady decline. Despite our minimal savings for our child's education, the stress from my husband-related issues quickly reached its maximum in me. But perhaps I was also at fault for wanting him to notice without saying anything. So I told him, you don't have to do it every day, but at least I want you to help out around the house when you get home early or on weekends. Then his response was this: I see. Let's hire a housekeeper. I was flabbergasted. If we had the money to hire a housekeeper, I wouldn't start working, and we wouldn't be having this kind of conversation. We don't have the money for that, do we? It would be more efficient if you helped out. No, I'm just not cut out for household chores. We definitely need to hire a housekeeper. Not cut out. It's not like I'm cut out either. Just doing what you can would be enough. No, it's impossible. No matter how much we talked after that, his stance remained firm on impossible, and we should hire a housekeeper, making it impossible to have a reasonable discussion. Even I lost my patience with my Alex's selfishness, leading to a huge fight. The next day, when I thought he was coming home late, he unexpectedly returned with his mother. We're going to be living together from today, he announced, leaving both Lisa and me dumbfounded. It made no sense. My mother-in-law, holding a suitcase in her left hand, made it clear that moving in was no joke. Why all of a sudden? Didn't you say you wanted help with the housework? From today, my mom will be helping you out. No way. That's impossible. There's no way I could ask Jennifer, my mother-in-law, to help with household chores. Is Alex an airbrain? That's what I thought, but in front of Jennifer, I swallowed those words, of course. Even though her husband passed away about 2 years ago and Jennifer had been living alone in the house, it's still hard on her who was suddenly brought here. I thought it must be uncomfortable for Jennifer to live with her son's wife, yet it's surprising she agreed to it. I'm happy to see both Lisa and Nancy, said Jennifer, greeting us with an extremely displeased look that hardly seemed happy at all. Needless to say, a sense of unease washed over me, hinting at potential trouble brewing ahead. Once we started living together, I began to feel overwhelmed by stress. Alex always says, since mom's here, it's okay if I'm not around, and without changing his ways, he continued to go out alone every weekend. I have absolutely no idea what he's doing. He used to cherish family time more, but as Lisa grew up, those moments became increasingly rare. And then Jennifer is like, "Nancy, you're really terrible at doing laundry. Get out of the way and I'll show you how to do it properly. Your cooking is too heavily seasoned and not healthy, so I'll take over and cook instead." And just like that, she remarkably manages to criticize everything I do. On the contrary, she'd hand over snacks she bought herself and tell me to eat it because she doesn't want to eat it anymore. She's really self-centered and very stressful for me. Fortunately, the snacks happen to be my favorite. Sugar is my only solace now. Feeling worn out both at home and work, I was cleaning Alex's room one day when, unexpectedly, a bunch of photos fell out from between some thick books. I look over and see Alex and a strange woman kissing in the picture. The woman had her hands around his neck, and they were being more affectionate than he and I have ever been. To add insult to injury, the photos even had dates written on them. It seems their relationship had been going on for over a year. It turned out Alex had been meeting her not just on weekends, but on workdays as well. That explains why his salary has been steadily declining. Now it all became clear to me. Of course, I had my grievances and frustrations with him lately. But that didn't mean my love for him disappeared. Things happen if we're together long enough. We would try to find a way to make it work. That's just how marriage is, after all, and I still valued him as my husband and the father of our daughter. Despite that, I couldn't bring myself to put the photos back where I found them. I don't know how long I sat there on the floor, staring at the photos of him and that woman embracing each other. "Mom? What are you doing?" Lisa's voice startled me as she approached through the open door. Oh no. I shouldn't show this to her. But it was too late, already. What's this? Well, Lisa. What am I supposed to say? Despite trying to come up with something to say, I found myself at a loss for words. Feeling as awkward as if I were the one who had been unfaithful, I found myself mumbling around my daughter. What should one say in such a situation? All right. After saying just that, Lisa threw the photos on the floor and left the room. I couldn't quite understand what she meant, but it was clear she was shocked by her father's affair. Perhaps those her words were a mix of wanting to forgive her father and not being able to. While I was trying to find the right moment to confront Alex about the photos, I got a call from the school saying Lisa had collapsed from stomach pain during gym class. I rushed from work to the school, and after giving her some medicine at home, it seemed like her stomach pain had subsided. Lisa, I'm going to ask you directly without beating around the bush, is the reason you're feeling unwell because of what happened yesterday? She remained silent. I wanted to tell her that staying silent won't help, but I understood her feelings all too well and waited for her to speak up. Are you not going to get a divorce? After a while, she asked in a thin, slightly choked voice. Now it was my turn to be silent. With everything happening so suddenly, I haven't had time to think things through yet. Considering I don't have enough money to support Lisa's education going forward, I wonder if it's wise to rush into a divorce just based on my emotions. First and foremost, I wanted to know what she wanted for us. Did she want us to divorce or not? I don't really feel like we can start over. I admitted how ambiguous and cowardly my response sounded even to myself. Just go ahead and get a divorce. It's enough. Despite Mom working hard, he's skipping work and having an affair. I still don't hate him, but when I see his face, I feel disgusted. I can't seem to forgive him. Even knowing about the affair, she can't bring herself to hate her father. That's probably why it's been so hard for her, to the point of getting sick. It's because she wants to hate him, yet she can't hate him. I felt like I understood that sentiment. But no matter whether we cry or laugh, it seems impossible to start over as a family. From the moment I felt I would never forgive him. Lisa and I had a talk and decided to pretend not to notice his affair for a while. 2 months later, when we were alone, I told Alex that I knew about his affair. He looked taken aback for a moment and denied it, but fell silent when I showed him a certain photo. The photo shows Alex and his mistress driving into a shady motel in a town a short distance from Alex's office. Since all the photos were dated in the past, there's a chance he might claim they've broken up by now. That's why I spent 2 months gathering evidence without letting him catch on. Oh, did you know that? That makes it much easier. Let's get a divorce, he said. He sighed heavily, crossed his legs, and turned towards me with an arrogant demeanor. I don't want to be a caregiver in the future, so I'll give you my mom along with Lisa. In exchange, I'll pay whatever you ask for alimony and child support. But I won't cut ties with my mom and see her once in a while because I'm going to get my mom's inheritance. You understand that? For the first time in my life, I felt an unprecedented strong hatred towards him because of his selfishness. But it doesn't matter. I confirmed with him again, so, you're willing to pay alimony and child support, right? Even if he said he wouldn't, I'd have taken it by any means, but it's much helpful if he's willing to pay. Fortunately, my mistress has money and is smitten with me. If I say I'm getting a divorce, she'll pay up, he said. That's good to hear. Then the three of us will leave this house for you, I responded. Thus, I divorced him, took Lisa and Jennifer, and after leaving the house, started a new and best life. Becoming a single mother with a daughter, living with a self-centered former mother-in-law, what's the best part, you ask, right? Actually, 3 of us already knew that there was a chance Alex could kick us out. Jennifer had accidentally overheard a phone call between Alex and his mistress and sensed her son's infidelity. Originally, before living with us, she had seen Alex walking arm in arm with an unknown woman in the city. Pondering whether to confront her son, Alex suggested her to move into our house. Seeing him in the city was not strong enough evidence to confront him. Fearing that she might be dismissed as mistaken, this news came as a godsend to her. Living together increased the chances of finding proof of his affair. Thus, Jennifer gladly agreed to live with us. Of course, she intended to help with household chores. What? Instead of helping, wasn't she just constantly complaining? In fact, she confessed that she was the type who got extremely nervous and was severely shy around new people. Trying to hide her embarrassment, she often said unnecessary things or made mistakes, which made her feel bad about herself. Thinking back, despite complaining about my inefficiency, she took all the laundry off my hands, did it for me. While she complained about my seasoning being too strong, she still made dinner every day herself. She claimed to be tired of snacks, but she ate just a little herself, and those snacks happened to be my favorite. Looking back, when I met Jennifer for the first time before marriage, she told me not to bustle about. And she never asked me to help with the household chores since then. It must have all been her way of making sure I didn't have to work. Since Alex rarely visited his hometown, there was little chance to bond with Jennifer or to know she was shy. Now, I've finally come to understand it. She is just an awkwardly kind person. Inferring from the conversations between Lisa and me that we were aware of Alex's affair. Jennifer shared everything she knew and promised to support us. She never thought her own son would kick her out, so she no longer has any feelings towards her son. Now that we know Jennifer is a good person, the fact that she's my ex-husband's mother doesn't matter. She's a dear grandmother to our daughter. Having Jennifer's support is very reassuring, and we've decided to live our lives together. She prepared a place for us to live in case we all got kicked out. It's a brand new high-rise condominium, newly built and conveniently located near the station. Furthermore, Jennifer decided to play the villain by demanding remittances from Alex, saying, I had to put up with such unreasonable conditions, like expecting your ex-wife, of all people, to take care of me. Send me money or you won't get any inheritance. Thanks to this, we're now enjoying a luxurious life in the high-rise condo, living off the alimony and child support from Alex and his mistress. And even receiving remittances. Lisa remarked, our living standard has actually gone up since the divorce, hasn't it? Thanks to Jennifer's consideration, we moved close enough that Lisa didn't have to change her school. And she's been the envy of her classmates for our high-rise condo lifestyle, clearly thrilled about it. Once troubled by Alex's affair, Lisa is now more than fully recovered, energetically making daily visits to the indoor pool in our complex. My completely hopeless fool of a son was a headache, but now, I'm thankful for his foolishness, Jennifer said with a laugh. She's also started going to a gym popular with residents of nearby high-rises, making friends there, learning how to use the phone from Lisa. And enjoying playing games and communicating with her new friends. She still tries to do all the household chores, so I've had to insist we share the responsibilities, finally managing to divide them up. If I leave her to it, she does everything so perfectly that there's nothing left for me to do. She's just too kind. As for me, our improved financial situation allowed me to reduce my work hours and have more personal time. I've even started going to the gym with Jennifer. Since moving here, I've noticed my facial sagging has disappeared, and I look a bit younger. One day, while we were all enjoying these happy times, Alex contacted us, wanting to meet his mother. Jennifer already knows that he hasn't severed ties with her in order to receive the inheritance from her. That's because I told her so. And also she's been pretending not to know, saying, I won't cut ties since I want the remittances from him. But in reality, he never once tried to visit his mom. What brought on this sudden change? When I told Jennifer, she suggested we should at least meet up, and since inviting him to our current home felt daunting, we decided to gather at the house instead, where Jennifer lived until moving into our place. And a week later, right on schedule, Alex arrived at my parents' house. Despite it being less than 3 months since the divorce, he appeared somewhat haggard. I'm sorry for contacting you out of the blue, he apologized. Just get to the point, Lisa said. Taken aback by her sharpness, he took a deep breath before slowly starting to share his current situation. I was planning to marry her after our divorce. Without missing a beat, Lisa asked, is she the woman you were having an affair with? It was clearly awkward for him to admit this to his daughter, but he grimaced and confirmed it. Lisa, with a deliberately exaggerated, crossed her arms, making him visibly uncomfortable and annoyed. Well, it might be a bit unladylike, but considering it as her form of revenge against a father who abandoned her, I think I can let it slide this time. No matter how many times I've asked her to live together, she's just been dodging the question with vague responses. And since the start of this month, I haven't been able to get in touch with her at all. Hearing this, Lisa and Jennifer burst out laughing. Come on, Dad. That's so lame. You got dumped even after hinting at remarriage. Totally rejected by her. All that passion was just on your side. It's embarrassing to admit you're my son, really. Alex, now the verbal punching bag of the two, seemed to have lost all will to retort, quietly accepting their harsh words. Did you guys say something to her when you demanded alimony? Like, threatening not to forgive her if she married me? His almost tearful question left us all dumbfounded, followed by uproarious laughter from all of us. Wait, I can't stop laughing. My stomach hurts. Seriously, how can you be so dumb, Dad? Can't believe it. Exactly. I don't care about what a worthless ex-husband would do. Feel free to remarry or whatever. In fact, as a parent, it's worrying to let such a foolish son loose, so it'd be reassuring if some capable zookeeper could manage him properly. After receiving a verbal straight punch from all three of us from every direction, he was left speechless and just hung his head on the spot. It was clear he truly believed we had influenced his mistress. The only reason he could think of for being dumped seemed to have vanished, leaving him in shock. Remember when we stormed her place? There was a guy with her, right? Lisa remarked. Jennifer and I nodded in agreement. Wide-eyed, Alex stared at us. A guy? What are you talking about? As he asked us, his lips had turned completely pale. Seeing this, Lisa grinned as if she had found a new toy. And now, a shocking revelation for our clueless dad. Lisa, cut the jokes. Let's talk seriously. She's married, you know. Didn't you really know that? At that moment, Alex froze. He looked so soulless, as if he might turn into a fossil right there on the spot. Hey, are you listening? Dad? No way, Lisa. He's probably lost in a fantasy date with her in his mind, given the harsh reality. It'd be funny if another guy showed up in his fantasy date. Grandma and Mom are ruthless. You're the harshest one here. Angered by our laughter, he seemed to snap back to reality and raised his voice. Why didn't you tell me? I quickly retorted, well, you never asked. Come on, Mom, you told me to keep quiet because it was funny. Lisa, we agreed not to mention that, right? Seeing me chuckling about the slip-up, he sighed deeply, perhaps too tired to confront us directly. So, she was cheating too. At his muttering, we women offered half-hearted words of encouragement, well, better luck next time. To add to that, all of our lips were curled into smirks. How about we start over? What? Start over what? Your life? Please go ahead on your own. My candid response slipped out, incredulous at his overly optimistic suggestion. I was never supposed to be alone like this. The loneliness in that house is unbearable. I was out of my mind. Please, let's start over. He pleaded desperately. However, Lisa, clearly unimpressed, simply said, "No way," and began amusingly twirling his hair with the handle of a floor mop. I remember the days when Lisa used to find sea anemones at the beach and gleefully poke them with a stick. It's a secret that he closely resembled the poked sea anemone. If that's the case, at least give me a break on the alimony and child support. I thought she would cover it. I've been spending without worrying about my savings up until now, but I can't afford to pay anymore. Don't worry, I'll send you a love letter called the reminder letter until you pay up. Or you would expect a surprise, in the form of foreclosure if you really can't manage. My words made him hang his head in defeat. Jennifer jokingly added, maybe we should think about what to do with those two healthy organs of yours? In that case, at least. Mom, can you pass on my inheritance to me in advance? What? What's this stupid son talking about now? Well, all right then. Really? At Alex's proposal, Jennifer showed her biggest grin of the day. We couldn't help but smile as well. The only inheritance left is this old house, 50 years old and run down. What? I used the inheritance I was saving for you to buy our current home. I'm totally broke now. And just so you know, I've also made sure to leave a will stating that the new home goes to Nancy and Lisa. No way, you're kidding, right? This house, being secondhand and on not-so-great land, might cost you more to get rid of. The rest is up to you, my my dear son. See you, Dad. I'll keep calling you a dad, as long as you pay the child support. And don't forget about my alimony, too. If you fall behind, the reminder letter will come to you. Without offering any consolation, we left him standing there, dazed, in the old family home. Without anyone offering comfort to the dumbfounded Alex. We left that house behind. Eventually, Alex somehow managed to get in touch with his mistress, only to be rebuked for taking a fling too seriously and was subsequently dumped. Well, that's to be expected. Desperate for companionship, he repeatedly tried to reconcile with us, only to be toyed with and rebuffed by all three of us. Until he finally stopped trying. Jennifer even joked, should we make that house even more of a mess now, to give him a hard time in the end? It seems we've decided to keep him around as our toy without cutting ties completely. Despite his claims of inability to pay, he consistently paid the alimony and child support, probably fearing what we might do next. Especially when Lisa earnestly mentioned, a job where a man entertains other men can pay quite well. Alex would always clench his buttocks and shudder at the thought every time he heard it. Since then, Lisa has successfully entered college and is now working as a makeup advisor for a certain cosmetics brand in New York. She always wanted a glamorous job, so it's the perfect fit for her. It seems she's seeing someone, though I haven't been introduced yet. I'm secretly looking forward to some happy news. Jennifer is still doing well, and since Lisa started working, we've been traveling together. We're mainly into domestic travel due to our discomfort with foreign countries, but we want to visit every state in the US someday. The three of us women will continue to live strong and vigorously.